Yeah. Uh, keep it right, keep it tight now. What's going down? How you feeling, yo? Everything's gonna be all right. You think that it's not gonna be all right? Yeah. So, check it out, right? This is Daily Go Get a Wisdom Show. Actually, it's the Urban Therapy with Sun show. And this morning, on this glorious Sunday morning, I gave myself a stretch of morning yawn, and it's going down. 30th of the month, 30th of the year, first month of the year, first ending of the month of the year. We was just screaming Happy New Year. But today we're talking about things that you have to eat that you don't like. Now, when we say that we eating something, in this modern day language, we mean that you have to endure something that you may not want to endure. You have to experience something that you didn't want to experience. You got to eat something. It's sort of like when you was younger and your mom introduced you to liver. Now, most kids that I know didn't like liver growing up. Some grew up to start liking it or whatever. But it's a good example of when we were younger, how you went from one point of concentration to another area of concentration, depending on what your experiences with that person may have been. And presentation is everything when it comes to giving or receiving something, especially when it comes to receiving something. You may reject something good that's coming from somebody that you don't think is good, or somebody that you think is evil, or somebody that you don't think has your best interest at heart, and somebody that you just couldn't trust from the start. Swear. So when we talk about things that you have to eat that you don't like, we're talking about the experiences that you have to endure, that you have to go through, that you probably wish that you could have changed around if you could navigate your own experiences and decide for yourself exactly what you are going to go through and what you're not. So we talking about that eating. Sometimes you be hungry for some stuff and you have to eat the things that you don't really want to work. So we going to get into it, get involved. These puzzle pieces we will solve. Everybody get involved with this thing here. Everything is going to be all right this year. Work. So, yeah. Ooh. Okay. So let's get into it, y'all. Y'all ready? Are you ready? I am. Let's get it popping. Urban Therapy with Sun 752 with this the Urban Therapy with Sun show. We do this every single Sunday from 11 a.m. till around 12:30-ish. And the reason that we say 12:30-ish is because sometimes it gets so heated that we just have to do a little OT on a Sunday. And it is a Sunday. And on this Sunday, we are getting it popping with the Urban Therapy with Sun show. This is the show where adults come out and play with other adults. We laugh, we cry, we argue, fuss, and fight, go back and forth with each other, bust it up all crazy. We, me and you, us, we take an introspective look into our own personality to see the way that the universe projects us into this thing called the world and try to figure out this thing called life. We play on the monkey bars and the swings and push each other up the sliding board. We play on the merry-go-round and then the sandbox. I'm your host, Sun 752, aka Omar with the. And if you can't say Omar with the, well, then you just say Omar with the R. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show. So we're talking about things that you have to eat that you don't like. Things that you have to eat that you don't like. What are some of the things that? All right, let's talk about eating. What are we talking about when we say that we're eating? A lot of times nowadays, in the slang sense, when we say that that somebody is eating or that we're eating, we mean that we're doing pretty good financially. When you can afford the kind of food that you like to eat. When you're broke, when you're starving, when your money ain't right, when the checks ain't coming in, a lot of not not being able to eat the things that you want are in the form of like rice and beans. Now ain't nothing wrong with rice and beans. Rice and beans is cool. But rice and beans ain't as cool when you want some meat in the rice and beans and you can't add none. So I don't care whether you're talking about hog maws, or I don't care if you're talking about turkey butts. I don't care if you're talking about whatever the meat is that you put inside of the rice and beans, or in the greens, or whatever the case may be. You know, when you can't afford meat, a lot of times it means that you are really, really on a tight budget and things are really sticky for you. So when we get into talking about what we're talking about as far as not eating right, or not being in the shape to really eat, when we say that somebody ain't, we normally say that somebody is eating when we mean that they're doing well financially. Very rarely do we say that somebody ain't eating. We normally say that they're starving. And we know that if somebody is starving, there's no way that you can be doing good and starving at the same time. You're hungry. There are a lot of things in this world that you can be hungry for. You can be hungry for knowledge. You can be hungry for salvation. You can be hungry for food, of course. You could be hungry for love. You can be hungry for success. You could be hungry for of spirituality, knowledge, wisdom, understanding. You could be hungry for a whole lot of things. And you're looking for something or someone to satisfy that hunger on a regular basis. So the question of, are you eating, can really start to be a question that you really have to address at that time. So if you think about your current situation, are you eating right now? How are you doing? How are you doing? Because when you're eating, it can mean that you're doing well financially, but a whole lot of other things go into whether you're doing well financially. A whole lot of other things go into that. You know, like, is your family straight? Is your health straight? You know, when your health ain't right, nothing in your whole world is right. You know, you got to get your health straight, because everything in the world, all the money in the world will not fix your situation if you're sick all the time, if you're not feeling well all the time, if you're feeling down, you're feeling bad, and that's physically or emotionally. And a lot of times your emotional health, your mental and emotional health is directly tied into your physical health, and vice versa. One thing feeds the other thing. Yeah, metaphorically speaking. One thing feeds the other thing. So it can be a tough situation when you're talking about whether you're eating right. So think about your current situation. Are you eating? What are your meals looking like right now? How are things going in your life? You know, is your job straight? You know, some people out there are in trouble at their job. They're in jeopardy of losing their job. Over the past couple of years with this whole pandemic thing, job situations have been very murky, shaky, unstable, inestable. Now, the world is opening up, jobs are opening up, but a lot of times the money for a lot of these jobs ain't what it should be. So your current situation, how are you eating? Are you eating right now? You know, are you at a job that's not paying you what you want to make? Not treating you the way that you deserve to be treated? Not showing the type of value for your service that you are giving, because you're helping them to make money, regardless of how they make you feel about it. When you work at a job, you are working at a job, you got hired to help them to make a bunch of money. And believe me, no matter what you do, no matter how much time you steal, they are going to make more money off of you than you're going to make off of them. They've already decided how much they can afford to pay you. And as long as they stay within that number, no matter what happens, they've already won. It's already in the budget. But you have variables. So you may feel like you should be making $20 an hour on a job, for example, and you may only be making $15 or $16 an hour. So you ain't eating the way that you should be eating. You know, mathematically speaking, if you feel like you should be making $20 an hour on a job and you're making $15 an hour on a 40-hour work week, we are talking about $200. So, every time you get paid on a 40-hour work week, you are losing, theoretically, $200. $5 an hour times 40 hours, $200. I'm sure that you could use that $200 for a nice little meal, a coat, pair of sneakers, paying a bill. And we get paid every other week. So now we're talking about $400. So we might not be eating the way that we want to be eaten, or that we need to be eaten, or that we deserve to eat. So when you think about your current situation might be a dire situation. It might be a situation that you really need to address. There might be something serious. Something serious going on here. So that's what we're talking about today. Let me give a shout out to my people. What's going on? My brother from another mother, Norris Hill. Sit back, relax, do your thing. Max and chill, Auntie, Carrie Wright, morning, noon, and night. It's always great to have my people going directly into your side. And Layla H. Harris, thanks for coming through and being great, yo. And there's no hate. And Stacy White, thanks for coming through in the day, not the night. That's word. Even though when you come through in the night, it's all good, all love, and all right. Ja Biggs! I love your kid, and thanks for coming on through, and I'm glad that you did. Word. So that's what we're talking about today. Things that you have to eat that you don't like. What was the meal? What was the food that your mom made you eat when you were younger that you didn't like? When you knew that this was coming up on the dinner menu night after night or week after, whatever the case was, and it was like, oh my God, what is this? It could have been liver. It could have been Brussels sprouts. It could have been sweet peas. It could have been broccoli. Some kids aren't really raised on vegetables and they don't like them. And it sounds ridiculous that some children would not eat vegetables or would not be fed vegetables while they're growing up. But I've been in a few households where that macaroni and cheese, that stovetop macaroni and cheese was on the menu all day. So you might have had stovetop macaroni and cheese and potatoes and some chicken or whatever. It went down like that. Like, where's the greenery? My daughter, she don't like tomatoes. I'm like, who don't like tomatoes? Now she could be a vegetarian. She loves vegetables, but she don't like tomatoes. I'm like, what you got against the red? What you got against the red, ma? The difference is she don't have to eat the tomatoes if she don't want to eat the tomatoes. When I was growing up, we pretty much had to eat what was coming up. Now, my mom could cook. She was a great cook. So even stuff that was nasty wasn't as nasty as it could have been. She made nasty food edible. Like I said, I don't like liver. I didn't like liver growing up. I didn't like it then. I never grew to like it. I can't stand it now. And I get tired of people talking that bullshit about you just got to know how to cook it. I was like, why do I have to know how to cook it? All I have to do is know how to eat it. And it's nasty. No, I'm just trying to tell you, when you have it cooked right, you'll like it. Like Like, I'm not smart enough. Like, my palate, my tongue is not smart enough to know what it likes and what it don't like. I'm like, all right, so let me ask y'all a question. Let me ask, are you liver enthusiasts out there that claim that it's the way that a person cooks it that determines whether you like liver or not? How come I like all the other shit that you put on the liver? I like onions, I like mushrooms, I like gravy, I like green peppers, I like seasoning, I like all that other shit. And if you put all that other shit on anything else besides liver, guess what? I'd be like, yo, this shit good. It's the liver, man. It's the liver. That's what it is. And I'm going to tell you something. I think liver must be a female thing, because I don't hear too many dudes running around here saying, yo, liver is the bomb. I wish I had me some of that shit right now. I don't. It's always some female running around here talking about, I'm trying to tell you, liver good. Liver is good. It's the way you cook it. You gotta know how to cook it. I'm like, nah. When I go to a restaurant, I don't tell them that they gotta know how to cook what I order on that menu. My job is to eat and pay. Pay and eat, eat and pay, pay and eat, eat and pay, pay and eat, eat and pay, pay, eat and pay, eat, pay, eat and pay. I ain't getting back there in the kitchen if I gotta do all of that. Shit. They're gonna have to pay me. They pay the chef. So yeah, things that you have to eat that you don't like. Now, many times, some people have sat at that dinner table because their mom or whoever raised them told them that you going to clear that plate, you going to eat everything on that plate, or you ain't getting up from that table. Motherfuckers at that table a week later. Like, I had to do my homework at this table because I ain't eating that shit. I used to go to school every day, but now I had to be I'm homeschooled because I ain't eating that shit. Shout out to people. Shout out to anybody and everybody who has got their ass whooped because they didn't want to eat what was being served at the dinner table. I think that's cruelty. I think that's abusive, but it has happened. And you know, growing up, when we were younger, when meals were more serious, like there were some things that meant a lot when we were growing up. Things like watching TV. You know, when I grew up, everybody didn't have a TV in their room to be able to just watch whatever they wanted to watch. You know, when I grew up, we still had black and white TVs. Shout out to the little 13-inch black and white TV that had the handle on it. Yeah, a TV was a big deal. A color TV was a big deal. So, you know, there were many disagreements in the living room or wherever the TV was, because everybody didn't always agree on what was going to be watched. So the same thing with eating, with food. Dinner time was a big thing growing up. And that's whether you ate together at the table as a family or whatever was being served, you know, it was a big deal. Dinner time was a big deal. You know what I'm saying? So but there were many things that you probably wanted to eat on a regular basis that wasn't being served because whoever was preparing the meals didn't cook that or didn't cook it on a regular basis or whatever. So there were many times where you had to eat things that you didn't really like that much in hopes that the next day would be a little bit different. Shout out the leftovers. There's nothing worse than biting the bullet and eating some shit for dinner that you didn't like today and then having that same shit come and see your ass tomorrow. You like, yo. See, to me, it ain't leftovers if it's good. That's why people don't say things like, yo, leftover spaghetti. They just be like, it's spaghetti. Evidently, to a lot of people, spaghetti needs a day. It needs a whole 24 hours in order for the flavor to really sink in. So nobody bitches about next day spaghetti, next day collard greens. The flavor gets in that shit. You know what I'm saying? But things like liver, things like, I didn't like peas. I didn't like sweet peas. I could eat them, but I didn't really like them. Shit like that. So my mom served, green peas. I would eat them shits first. Like, let's get this garbage out the way. Peas. I don't like them to this day. They're not necessarily nasty. They're just not good. Like, I wouldn't eat that. I wasn't feeling it. So, like I said, my mom was a good cook. But there were still times and days when I had to eat shit that I didn't really like. Liver days with the worst days. That we drink Kool-Aid when we thirsty. It's funny because I would never let Kool-Aid touch my lips to this day. But it ain't no way I didn't grow up on that sugar water all day. My oldest sister, Shell, was like a Kool-Aid mixologist. I swear, to this day, I have never met anybody that can make Kool-Aid like Shell. Shell kept me in the Kool-Aid game way past my prime. Yeah, that is a Kool-Aid mixing. She get that lemon and that cherry together. She know how to put the sugar in. She know how to put the sugar in. Fucking Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid. Yeah, man. So, but yeah. So there were things that I had to eat that I didn't really like. But you endure those things. It teaches you lessons. It teaches you that from a young age, you realize that unless you are the one doing the buying of the food, the serving of the preparing of the food and the serving of the food, then you're not always gonna have a choice of what you eat, how it tastes, and how much you're going to have to eat. It's not always up to you. And that's a lesson, actually and metaphorically, what should I say, literally and figuratively, literally and figuratively, that we all have to learn. Sometimes you have to do things that you don't want to do. And you have to learn things that you don't want to learn. And you don't want to, and it may not always be your choice. But nonetheless, you'll have to endure that. And it ain't going to kill you. At the end of the day, when we're talking about food, it's going to still nourish your body. There are nutrients in there in some type of way. And you may not always be the person who determines how the nutrients are going to be served and how they're going to affect you. It's not always about that. So that is one of the lessons that we learn as we get older. There are going to be times when we ain't eating what we want to eat. And sometimes you have to eat. You have to eat for today to stave off hunger for now until you can eat what you like. Sure, it would be nice if it could be lobster and steak every night. Maybe shrimp or whatever, But sometimes it's rice and beans. And sometimes it's fried chicken and rice-a-roni. Because my big sister Dita, she bougie against rice-a-roni. But I say rice-a-roni is that shit. I love me some rice-a-roni. You want to get in good with me? Fry me up some chicken. Fry that shit good though. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm a fried chicken connoisseur. I can fry chicken good as shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't put up with. There's no fried chicken out there in the little franchise restaurants that I think is really all good like that. Anyway, some fried chicken and rice-a-roni, and I'm good. I'm straight. I'm love. I'm nice. Anyway, so Stacy White says, I would never eat no liver no more. You made good sense about that. That's all right. I will eat spinach for iron. Word up. That's right, Stace. Fuck liver. Not eating that shit. It's not gonna happen. My liver days are far behind me. And she also says, I didn't like tomatoes when I was young. Taste buds really changed when I got older. Yeah. Now, you might not have liked tomatoes when you was younger, but then, your taste buds was like, wait, maybe the tomatoes was different when we was younger. You know what I'm saying? But that liver stayed the same, baby. That shit garbage, yo. That shit garbage. It don't even look good in the pack, Stace. That shit look nasty in the pack. All that damn blood. Like, yo. They can't fix that. All that damn blood in the pack. The presentation of liver is on some other shit. Norris Hill says, you gotta know how to eat it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You gotta know how to cook it. So they dissing you on two levels. They saying that you don't know good food and you don't know nobody who know how to cook it. And you ain't been nowhere or been around nobody who know what they doing in terms of this meal. This fucking counterculture ass meal. Well, I feel insulted. I feel insulted. TK Wright says, I used to hate asparagus and beets. Stacey White says, on a spiritual level, when you eat healthy food, it becomes your healing. That's true. We're going to get into all that. We're going to get into all that. We're going to get my big sis, Medita Coleman, my big sis, my first love. What's up? Yeah, how you feeling? And Monica Davis, Monica D40 on Instagram, she says, visualizing liver is making me sick. That's what I'm saying. Monica know good food. She'll play. She'll play. She don't play that shit. Stacey White says, I noticed that I don't cook beans. Beans have beans are an interesting meal. Beans mean different things to different people. A lot of people, and not talking about you, Stacey, but a lot of people who grew up poor, grew up really broke, have a thing against beans. Some of them really embrace beans. Like this held us down when we was young. You know what I mean? Like my mom would make up a pot of beans that would knock your socks off. And other people was like, they associate eating beans with being broke, with struggling financially, with not having any money, with not having any job, with not having any utilities on in the house and food stamps and all. Food stamps. Can we have a conversation about food stamps for a hot second, y'all? Now, if you grew up if you was born in the 60s or the 70s, you know what it was like when paper food stamps was out. The book of food stamps. The book of food stamps. And you know what it was like to have to go to the store for somebody, elder on your block or a lady on your block will ask you to go to the store for them. And you was always down to go to the store for them because you knew that you was going to get some. You was going to get something. It was going to be some candy in it for you, a candy bar, some Chico stick, fucking Jolly Rancher, ice cream, whatever. There was something in it for you. So you like, oh yeah, I go to the store for you, Miss Such and Such. And Miss Such and Such she give you the list of shit that she want from the store, and then she hit you off with the food stamp joint, with the food stamp book. You like instantly it changed your whole attitude. Food stamp. Look, people didn't want to be on welfare back in the day. That's number one. And number two, they didn't even want to touch that food stamp book. They didn't want to touch that book. Like, people see you in the store with a food stamp book. That was like saying your mom ain't got no job. You on welfare. And being on welfare wasn't nothing to be proud of back in the day. Shout out to people who were on welfare. It didn't make you a bad person, but it made you a broke person. There wasn't no way around that. One thing that being on public assistance guarantees you is poverty. Ain't no way around that shit. No way around it. No way. No way. No fucking way. So when you went around to the store, some people tried to wait until everybody was out of the store so they could, use the food stamps or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But the food stamps was good for that ice cream. It was good for them potato chips and that soda. It was good for that hoagie. It was good for that sandwich. It was good for whatever, as long as it was cold food. Food stamps don't buy hot food, except in some stores. They make concessions. But yeah, nowadays people buy food stamps off of people. I buy food stamps off of people. I swipe that it's called an access card. The EBT card is called the access card in Pennsylvania. I swipe that bitch like wood. Like, because I'm eating now. See, using welfare tools ain't nothing to be ashamed of when you work and make real money. But it's when that's your only money, that's when it becomes a problem. And so if you eating on food stamps alone, then you ain't eating right. Well, actually, you kind of are, because you got kids and all of that. You get a bunch of food stamps. The stimulus definitely definitely applied to food stamps. The stimulus of 2021, food stamps was to say they was on the menu is an understatement, So yeah. By the way, if y'all would like to call into the show, make sure y'all, first of all, make sure y'all hit the like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show, and we're talking about when you have to eat the things that you don't like. We're talking about it. We're talking about it metaphorically. We're talking about it figuratively. We're talking about it literally. When you have to eat what you don't like. When things that you have to eat that you don't like. And if y'all would like to call into the show, I invite y'all to call, and the number to call is area code 319-527-6199. That's the number to call. I said a 319-527-6199. Yes, y'all. I said a 319-527-6199. Yeah, get on the line. I said a 319-527-6199. Yeah, get your shine, baby. 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 319-527-6199, baby. This is the Urban Therapy with Sun show, and we're talking about things that you have to eat that you don't like. When you're eating right, everything is all right. Your belly is full. Your heart is good. Your health is straight. Everything. Your money is right. Your love life is in the right direction. The stars are aligned perfectly with what's going on in your world. For real, for real. So so yeah, man. Well, you have to eat what you don't like. What's being served in your life? What's being served in your life? Do you like what's being served up? What's cooking in the pots? Do you like it? You know? Like when you have a bad experience with somebody, when you have to do something that you don't want to do, when you have to accept something that you would normally reject, you had to eat that. Yeah, we got to eat that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My job is giving pay cuts and demotions. So my choices are either to keep working there for less or to go get another job. So if I'm going to stay there, I got to eat that. I got to eat that. My girl disrespected me. She disrespected me. I heard that she messing around with another dude. You know, she being a little trifling right now. The problem is the choices are either to break up with her or to stay with her. And I'm not in a position right now where I'm willing to leave or that I could take that right now. So I got to eat that. I got to eat that. She called me out my name and she said some disrespectful things and she pretty much let me know how she feels about me. Now, sure, maybe she just said it while we was in an argument or that she was mad or whatever. She said it out of anger. But I got to eat that. It's either that or I have to do something about what she said. Or I have to hold on to that feeling. So yeah, I got to eat that. My kids are taking her side. My kids taking my baby mom's side. So she making it look like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do as a man and as a father. So in order for me to get back right in my children's good graces, I got to do some things that I shouldn't have to do. I got to eat that. Y'all see where I'm going with this? I got to eat that. Got to eat it. Don't like the taste. Don't want to be a part of this thing. But I got to eat that. I got to eat it. So, there may be a bunch of things going on in your life that you don't like. You got to eat that. You know what I mean? So when you have to eat things that you don't like, that's pretty much like saying that you have to endure things that are painful or that you have to put up with things or tolerate things that you don't want to, and it can be tough when you have to eat what you don't like over an extended period of time. When you have to keep eating what you don't like and what doesn't taste good to you, it can start to wear on you. It can start to weigh on you. It can start to bring you down, weigh you down. It can start to hurt. You got to eat that. T. Carey Wright says, it's unfortunate that most of us don't take what we should be eating seriously until we've already consumed BS for years and until we have health issues. Yeah, on the food tip. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's true. It's true. one of the problems with food is all of the stuff that tastes great is often bad for you. But that's because a lot of it is processed and or over seasoned and saturated with all types of things that doesn't have the proper nutrients for you. And unfortunately, those are the things that are heavily promoted. Things like fast food, heavily promoted. None of it is good for you. And we don't have to eat that, but we do it. We eat that voluntarily. What we don't eat voluntarily is the health issues that come along with it. But you don't have to eat that. We be eating that, and we ain't gotta eat that. We ain't gotta eat that. We eating it anyway. But we definitely have more choices. Okay. TK right says F liver, F gizzards. Yeah, F that. She also says a lot of people don't like spices that actually help break down fat and mucus. Yeah, well, you got to learn that. That has to be taught and shown to most people, because people think they understand good food, but they don't. They really don't. They don't understand nutrition. Nutrition is a tough thing to learn about, and you really have to unpack a lot of things in your mentality. Remember, years ago, but in our lifetime, a balanced meal of a good breakfast was eggs and toast and sausage and shit like that. Now they wouldn't try to pull that shit off. They'll tell you that that's a good tasting breakfast, but they can't push that as a balanced meal anymore. They can't tell you that that's good anymore. You know, it used to be toast with butter or jam, whatever. Uh, Eggs scrambled or sunny side up or however you like them. Sausage, milk. That was supposed to be a breakfast that was good for you. Nowadays, nutritionists look at that shit like, this meal right here is gonna kill you. Ain't nothing here but high cholesterol, fat, mucus. Like, this ain't no good meal. Okay. Let's see. Nar says, we are probably that last generation who know about eating from the backyard garden. TK Wright says, I don't agree. Nars. This generation has embraced urban gardens and holistic gardening on a major level. Before that knowledge came from an aunt or grandma. Nars says, I didn't know too many kids that like being a food stamp champ back in the day. Wee! Yeah. Go in the store with those food stamps, man. Talk about a push and pull on your emotions. On one end, the person that sent you to the store with the food stamps told you that you could get whatever you wanted. You could damn near come out of there with a grocery bag of your own. But you gotta endure this social embarrassment of paying for it with poor money. So it's like, damn, I'm about to get this. I'm about to get these cakes, these cookies, these chips, this soda, this ice cream, this candy. But in order to get to it, I gotta go through the food stamp fire. To the wire, to the limit, to the wall. To have a chance of getting food, I gotta spend food stamps, y'all. To the wire, to the limit, to. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. TK right says you have to eat that literally. You have to eat that literally and figuratively. Yeah. All right. She says when your job does things unethically, but you can't afford to quit, you gotta eat that. You gotta eat that. Yes. Your job is on that bullshit. But you know how it is. Yo, I can't afford to lose my job right now. I need this job. Shout out to the people who haven't been to work in a while. You've been out of work for a while. So you know what it's like to drain your savings out, to have to borrow from people, to have to depend on other people, to not really know where your next literal meal is coming from. And now you back to work, you working. You know that first check is everything for you. You happy to be back in the workforce or whatever, to be able to be financially independent. You're trying to get back on your feet and all of that kind of shit. You could have gone through all kinds of things. You could have been going through some physical problems where you were laid up in the hospital for a while, or had serious health problems to whereas you could not go to work, you could not physically work, or you could have been going through a depression where you literally could not do anything else except for be sad all day and fucked up. And now you're trying to get back on your feet. You're trying to get back right. You're trying to get your constitution together. You're trying to balance your scales. You're trying to get back to what you used to be and what you know you can be. And you get on this job, and this job is almost pushing you back to where to the negative state that you were in just before you got the job. But you gotta eat that right now. Yeah, they on some dumb shit. They on some bullshit. But you gotta eat that right now. You don't have the options. You don't have the options of different meals, different restaurants, different menu choices. You don't have those right now. Right now, you got to eat that. Right now, you got to eat that. It's tough. It's mad tough. Stacey White says, I notice when I don't eat right, my depression be off the chain. The food that we eat has such a direct impact on the way that we feel physically and emotionally. It's ridiculous. And until you start eating better and shown what to eat and how to eat better, you will never know. You will never make the connection. That's why it's important to be around the type of people who understand these things and that can provide the type of knowledge that's necessary so you can, so you can make better choices, so you can do better. But shout out to you, Stacey. Okay, TK right says writing is a wonderful outlet for beating depression, and it certainly is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The food pyramid was of the 70s was a killer. It sure the fuck was. It sure was, man. That shit had all kinds of shit. It had pork chops and that shit, steak. You know what I mean? But the food choices back in the day were directly linked to your financial for your financial situation. If you can afford to eat good, then you will. If you can't, then you'll probably be thin. No, it says, I wonder if anybody feels some kind of way with an EBT card. Nah, man, it don't have the same stigma as it had. The paper stamps back in the day had a stigma to them. Once people started committing a lot of welfare fraud, hustling on the side, hustling on the side, making money independently working under the table, things like that, then having food stamps or being on welfare started to lose its negative stigma. And a lot of jobs that you had didn't offer the type of health insurance that you could afford. So if you worked under the table, you could still listen. The worst thing about welfare is the motherfucking money. That check ain't about shit. That check is poverty, straight poverty, no way around it. But the healthcare, that medical card, that shit's straight. And them food stamps, that shit's straight. So yeah, I get my food stamps from my Food Stamp Connect. I roll up in the market like what? With a pocket full of money. They don't know I got a pocket full of money, but there have been times I've done the fronting thing. Like I'll go in, pull out the money, start counting it, reach in my back pocket and swipe the EB. Just so y'all niggas know. Just so y'all know. Fuck y'all think this is? Because I ain't rich, but I'm eating. How about that? I ain't seen a meal that I can't afford. And yeah, I'm proud of that. But nonetheless, there've been I've had hard times before. And I'm sure that doesn't make me any different than anybody else. Many have gone through what I've gone through, and they had to eat that. They had to eat that. It's like that, and that's the way it is. So yeah, food stamps don't have that same. They don't carry that same stigma as they did in the 70s and 80s. By the time the 90s came and they went to the EBT card, shit started to get different. Yeah. Stacey White says, damn, crab legs still cost too much. $23 for a box of crab legs. For a box? Shit, they $20 a pound right now. Crab legs is off the chain. Only people who get food stamps can afford them shits. This is what I'm saying. Welfare, you good with the food stamps? You good? You good with the medical card? It's that goddamn money that's confusing the issue. It's the money that's keeping you broke on welfare. But we got to eat that. We got to eat that. Speaking of eat that, shout out to people who be hating people who get food stamps. Yeah, you in line with your little bread, your little ice cream, your little pack of chicken wings. You can't afford no bunch of chicken wings. You got a little pack and shit's like $3.99, $4.99 a pound now. For chicken wings. So that shit is a delicacy right now. That shit is like caviar. But anyway, you got the handheld joint. You got the little grocery basket. Like you just going to the store to get a couple of things. And you get in line, the express line closed. 12 items or less. That's closed. You behind somebody that got 2 carts full of food, and they ain't willing to let you go ahead of them. They loading up the conveyor belt. They loading the belt up with they shit. Boop, 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 boop. Void on 4. Void on 4. Yeah, I got a void. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. No. Those said that it said that those was 99 cents a pound. That's not what it say on that screen. Well, I mean, it's in the computer as, but it's in the computer as 159 a pound. It say 99 cents a pound. Price check on 4. Price check on 4. Apples, red delicious apples. Price check. Oh, yep. It says 99 cents a pound. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah. So you behind somebody with two carts full of food, overflowing, and you got your little grocery basket of about 7 items in there. That shit gonna run you about $60, $75. Somewhere between $60, $75 for this little bullshit that you done bought. And you gotta wait behind this person with these food stamps that looks like a 2 months full of food. You gotta eat that. You gotta eat that. I mean, what? You gotta eat that. You can be hating. You can hate and talk about how the government giving these people welfare and it's taken away from your taxes and all that. Yeah. Bottom line is you gotta eat that. You gotta eat that. You gotta eat that. And to further spread the hate, they got 2 carts full of food overflowing, and they still got food stamps left. They still got the food. Still got the stamp. Still got the snap. Still got the stamp. Still got that EBT. Still eating for free. Still. You gotta eat that. You gotta eat that. You can't beat that. You mad as fuck. But good luck trying to hate on them. They ain't gonna change your shit. They got that stem. Yeah, the stimulus check is coming on through, and you mad as a motherfucker. Sucks for you. But you go to another store. It's like, what? You gotta eat that. You have to eat that. Yeah. A trip to the market, a trip to the grocery store that you calculated would only take you about 20 minutes is now going to turn into like 45. So you had to double it with an extra 5 on it. You got to eat that though. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Marcel says, how about somebody with a cart full at the express checkout? Yeah, we got to eat that sometimes too. Shout out to people who will snitch on people in the express line. Like, yo, it's more than 12 items. Look, it's more than 12 items. They need to get in them other lines. I got to get back to work. I only got a half an hour break. I came over here, to get a couple of things and whatever. That's more than 12 items. Yeah, I'm not minding my grocery business. People will mind your grocery business. You know, people look on the belt to see you when you in the market. People look to see the shit that you buying, right? Because the groceries that you buy says a lot about the way your household is set up, about your food choices, about your socioeconomic status. It says a lot about your health consciousness. People will mind your supermarket business. Why you minding my market business? Look, I'm just trying to get that little divider. I'm trying to help you load this food onto the belt so I can put my divider on, because you know what I mean. I got a gallon of milk over here. This shit getting heavy. I need to put it on that belt. So I'm not minding your market business. I'm trying to get up in here. But if it'll make you feel better, all I got is this milk, cheese, butter, bread. I'm dairied out right here. Eggs, milk, cheese, eggs, butter, bread. Minding my market business, baby. No, it says, but don't have enough and have to delete $40 worth. Stacey White says, yes, they definitely look at what you buy and make judgment. You know they do. It's out there in the open. Like, oh shit, they still eat pork, huh? Look at that. If she still eat pork, that means she kind of cute. I mean, I could get a little Christian mingling going on over here. Last night, pork chop saved my life. Last night, pork chop saved my life from a broken heart. Last night, a pork chop saved my life. Last night, a pork chop saved my life with a song. She a good Christian woman. She pork chops. Maple chops. Pork chops. All right, y'all. Like I said, make sure that y'all hit that like button. Make sure that y'all share the show. Make sure that y'all subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, this is the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. And we are talking about things that you have to eat that you don't like. I see that we have a caller on the line. Caller with the last numbers. 6606. Welcome to the Urban Therapy with Sun Show. Thank you for holding. What's good? How are you?
Are you kidding me?
No.
Are you really kidding me?
No.
For God's sake, go. You're industrious, you're energetic, you're curious about insightful things, and this is the topic you got to pick for a Sunday, about foods you got to eat even if you don't like them?
Well,
what the
okay.
hell is going on?
Wait, I'm going to tell you what's going on. When we say that when you have to eat what you don't like, we're not talking about just food. We're talking about life experiences. We're talking about situations. We're talking about relationships. Whenever something happens to you, it's a slang term. So whenever something happens to you that you don't like, but that you might have to basically get over, that means you had to eat that.
Right.
So it starts when you're young and your mom it prepares meals for you with things that you don't like, but you still had to eat it. And that kind of prepared you for the rest of your life when things happen to you or around you or alongside you that you didn't really appreciate, but you had to deal with them for the time being until you could control your own destiny. So you had to eat that. You know what I mean?
All right, because I saw that in the description page, but you were talking about market snitches. I mean, conveyor belt snitches.
It all ties in.
You're probably.
It all ties
in. Jesus. Oh, fuck. Yeah, but I get it now. Yeah, see, that just ties in with what you usually do about how you have one particular simple example and you can expand on it to include the other examples of like,
exactly
what people are going to continue to do with their indoctrination for the rest of their life.
Yeah, it's a method to the madness.
That we have to, we got to eat. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know though I had a grocery snitch behind me, but okay.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Listen, you know, we give away information about ourselves every day, not really knowing. You know, we not really knowing. You know, we give away our religious affiliation. You know, people are allowed to make judgments about us dealing with that. Some people go out of their way to hide it. Like look at the Jews in Hollywood. They for decades, for generations, they changed their last names and things like that to hide the fact that they were Jews, and they still do it. They still do it. You know,
Italians used to do it too.
Did they?
Like Dean Martin.
You know, I never knew Italians did that. I thought Italians were always super proud, and you know, like everything was pasta with them. Everything was pasta.
Yeah, I mean, after the '60s or so. But Dean Martin, his name was Dino Concetti or something like that, and he changed it to Dean Martin. Tony Bennett is an Italian, but he changed his last name. And there's a number of examples from the 40s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. Yeah.
Get out of here. I didn't know that. I did not know.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Well, yeah. So as
the Jews are known for it, because the Jews also changed their faces. They want to get rid of those stereotypically crooked noses.
Yeah, that's true.
They still do.
That's true. That's true. Because they knew that culturally, with what they are known for, if it came out, you know, there was a lot of prejudice against them, you know, for certain things. So yeah, but they went to great bounds, great lengths to try to hide their religious or cultural identity. So, you know, but there are plenty of people out here who stand up for who they are, where they come from, and what they believe, and they're very proud. But people are paying attention at all times, and we leave ourselves open. We leave ourselves open, you know, to certain scrutiny. So the supermarket is no different.
People do give away information about themselves on a daily basis, the way they walk, the way they talk, the conversations they engage in. Sure, we all do that.
Yeah.
That's why when I came on, you know, the kind of information you used to give out was that you were energetic, insightful, and here you were talking about grocery police. You know, so I'm saying, okay. I read the description page, but you know, you were kind of emphasizing the groceries. I'm saying, all right, okay.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, but you know, getting back to the topic, yeah, we have to eat. We have to eat a whole lot of things. Look at how many people who are married, who are unimpressed with their spouses. You know, okay, for example, let's say you love your spouse, you really admire them, you think that the two of you are very compatible and good for each other, but your wife or your husband may have a snoring problem. Like, I've never heard anything like this. This is ridiculous for somebody to sound like this when they sleep. You're not going to divorce them over that. You know what I mean? So basically, you eating that every night. You know what I mean? You being served that fucking diesel engine every night, sacrificing your own health. But you ain't gonna divorce her.
Hoping to God that the conductor will come to a stop, but you know he never will.
Hey, yo, and I'm gonna tell you something. Women now, I don't know how it was back in the day, but women are notorious snorers these days. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if the tides have shifted from men having bad respiratory problems back in the day, but women, yeah. Listen, I've laid down with some real buzzsaws. Like, what the fuck? Like, yo, you gotta fix that. I ain't eating that every night. I ain't eating it. I ain't eating that.
Yeah. people do. They actually do get separate bedrooms as a result of
Hey!
that.
It's looking like a 1950s sitcom in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like,
like here's Lucy. And
yeah.
Lucy's in the other bedroom.
So somehow she managed to get pregnant, but they sleep in twin beds. What part of the game is that?
I know. Never consummated the marriage at all. All of a sudden, she's got 13,000 kids. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And talking about the 50s, shit. I mean, you couldn't show married people together in the same bedroom. You had to have, and if you did, they couldn't be in the same bed. They had to have one leg off the bed. There had to be two beds in the bedroom. And one leg had to be on the bed, one leg had to be on. One leg had to be off the bed, one leg had to be on the bed. There couldn't be any suggestion whatsoever about impending sex. Because sex back in the 50s was only for married people, but not on TV.
I mean, I always wonder who were the brains that didn't think the American public could stomach a man and a woman being married and sleeping in the same bed. Who the fuck decided? Like, I don't know if this is good if this is good imagery. The thing that existed in every single home in the world, but on TV, nah.
See, now you're showing how young you are. I'm showing how old I am. I grew up during that time, and that was a very Puritan era. You couldn't say sex in public. You couldn't talk about it in public. And on TV, they had a moral code. They had a moral code in the big screen too. The bad guys could never win. The good guys always had to win.
Yeah.
And if you had a moral clause in your contract as an actor, you could get expelled, and fired.
Wow.
Because it was a very Puritan era. It is something which, part of it, if it was renewed today, would be a kind of a good thing.
Well, funny thing about it is, propaganda in the media has always tried to convince us that things were different than they actually were. Very few things have I ever seen on TV, especially back in the day, resonated with me in real life. I'm thinking like that. It's not like that. My mom and my dad definitely sleep in the same bed, even when they're mad at each other. Certain stuff happens. I know, teenage pregnancy, people who make babies with each other and don't stay together or don't get together, one night stand, all kinds of shit. I understand what they think or what they say. Things are supposed to look like, but things play out in real life the way they really are, not just the way we want them to. But I get it. So we had to basically eat all of the lies that we were being fed as we were growing up through the media, and we still are. We still have to eat. We still have to eat the same lies. Now the lies or the misconceptions are creeping into our real lives about serious things, about life and death situations. See, whether your mom and your dad slept in the same bed on TV or not didn't affect the way that we live. But whether these vaccinations are good or if the government is telling us the truth or lying or whatever, now these things really have a direct effect on our health, on our future, on our families, on our communities, a whole lot of things. And many of those things for example, in order to keep my job a few months ago, I had to get that fucking vaccine. And I fought against it. I tried everything in order for it not to happen, but I wind up having to take it in order to keep my job. I had to eat that. Didn't like the taste of it. Still don't. But I had to eat that.
I got a remedy for you. A real remedy, a real solution for it. Okay. And I'm not bullshitting at all. Go to the December 8th 2021 podcast of Alex Jones, December 8th, because on the hour of that show, it's 4 hours. His podcast is normally 4 hours. On the third hour of that show are two whistleblowers from OSHA. And they talk about, they were trained by OSHA, so they know that these masks don't work. They were trained in infectious diseases. They know that this hoax, as perpetrated by CDC, is really a hoax. But what I'm getting to in the remedy for you is that they also talk about how they have been expert witnesses in court, and they were responsible for some of the judges mandating that, preventing Biden's mandate from being carried out. And even more pointedly, they say that if you have been threatened by your employer that you will be fired if you don't take the vaccine, you can legally say to him, even if I'll take it, but if I even get the sniffles, I'm going to sue you. Now that seems to be like an empty threat, but they have said that people who have sued their employers have won in court based on that.
Okay.
So too bad I didn't know about it then. I couldn't tell you about it then, but you can still probably do it now. You've taken the vaccine. If you come down with any kind of any symptoms, a cold, you can probably still go back to your employer and say, you made me take it. And I would advise you to consult, on a free basis with attorneys and find out, if what I'm saying can actually be carried out. Mm-hmm. Because just because the pharmaceutical companies can't be sued, right? They're not held liable. Your employer can. Okay. So I'm glad you told me, and I can relate that information to you.
Well, I appreciate it. I really. One of the things that they did when they got to get around that, because they thought about it too. They never threatened to fire me. They just said I couldn't come into the building. And if I couldn't come into the building, then I couldn't get paid. Like, no, you're on the payroll for as long as you want to be. However, can't come in this building. So yeah, of course they have lawyers too. But
right.
But what you said, would still hold weight, because if I involuntarily took the vaccine, but voluntarily took the vaccine, I could still mm-hmm. say to them what you were talking about. I could still say to them, like, all right, I'm gonna do it. But yeah, as you were saying, if I get the sniffles or if I get a fever, whatever, I'm suing.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's news I can use. That is definitely useful.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah.
That is informed. If you're taking something that is informed consent, without informed consent, and all of us are taking these vaccines without informed consent, plus to be coerced by your employer, yeah, you might have a good shot, a better shot than than you might think.
You know what? One thing I've learned recently is that from one employer to another employer, the rules are a lot different. What's important to one employer is a lot different than what it is to another employer. And I've had interaction with a few companies in the past few months, and you see the differences. Like, so every company is not really pushing the envelope with that shit, because they have people in there who are against it too. But then there's some there's some who say no, they're all in and they're going to do whatever. And it's probably to protect their bottom line or whatever. But nonetheless, those are some of the things that we have to eat, even though we don't like the taste, even though we don't like who prepared the meal, who cooked it, who's serving it, none of that kind of stuff, but we still have to eat it. It's like driving somewhere where you have to be in the snow. Yeah, you got to eat that. Like, look, it's not an option for you not to go. You may have a sick loved one out of town or something like that, and you got to get to them. You have to get to them. And hey, but the weather is inclement, is fucked up, but you got to eat that. Mm-hmm. Drive carefully. pretty much like that. So,
well, you know what I like? I like the truckers who say we're not eating shit, and they've got something like 10,000 trucks, and they're already in Ottawa, in Canada, telling Trudeau, we don't like your mandate. We don't like the fact that you're imposing it on the truckers. So we are telling you no more. And I don't know if it's going to be successful, but I'll tell you one thing. I hope that it is, and I hope that Trudeau does lift the mandates, and that it can trickle down to America, which they're already talking about lifting the mandates, because the truckers, if the truckers don't give us our supplies within 2 weeks to a month, there goes America. Forget about it. The shelves will be empty. Everybody will be looting everybody else trying to get food, because 30 days without truckers were on the road is the destruction of America.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, as far as organizing for a positive cause and exercising your power in a situation, I'm all for that. If I feel like you're doing it for the right reasons and you're doing the right things.
Right.
But yeah, listen, some things have worked for years, for generations and whatever, and they should I believe that you should keep what works. You start introducing some new things.
Oh, yeah.
The new things may have some benefits to them, but sometimes they are implemented in the agenda of somebody else. And I can't blame
90 seconds.
I can't blame certain people for rebelling against what they may see as something that is unjust. Being forced to
and you know what? Yeah.
Being forced to put some poison in your arm. I'm just not it'll be a cold day in hell when I agree with that bullshit.
Hell yeah. And what you just finished saying now about implementing an agenda for somebody else. Now, I like the fact that the truckers are standing up. However, they could be working for the agenda unwittingly for, I'm a conspiracy theorist, quote unquote, for the New World Order. Because the New World Order wants to collapse the world. This is the reason for the vaccine. So if the truckers who are standing up for themselves and want justice for themselves and for Canada and America, they may be, in the meantime, unwittingly collapsing America. If they don't deliver those goods, as I've said, okay, regardless of whether the collapse is done directly by the New World Order or whether it's done by somebody else implementing their agenda, it's still a collapse.
Mm-hmm. Now, okay, let me ask you this. When people talk about the New World Order and collapsing the population, I fail to see the benefit in that. Like, I don't get it. When they say that there are too many people in the world, I don't understand. I don't understand that, because okay, you live out in Montana, right?
Right.
Well, hardly anybody else does. There's nothing but space out there.
Yeah.
Big sky country. Thousands and thousands of miles. Yeah. Thousands and thousands of miles of untapped, untouched land. And the same thing goes for the Dakotas, Wyoming, Idaho, Arizona, Nevada. Ain't that we talk about the populated areas like Phoenix, Reno, Vegas, and places like that. This is a whole state. There's a whole state, thousands of miles where there's nothing. How is there too many people in the world? Not in the United States, it ain't. Maybe in a continent that really isn't a continent like Europe or something like that. But in the United States, there are only 300 million people. That ain't shit. Given the size of this country, it's nothing. You look at China, you look at India. You could fit India right into the United States, and they got 1.3 billion people. As far as saying that there are too many people or whatever and wanting to reduce the population, rich people make all of their money off of poor people. So if you get rid of poor people, how are you going to be rich?
Well, you have not put yourself into the mindset of a psychopath, which is good. Let me put my psychopathic mind out there. Here I am, okay? I'm a psychopath. I don't like people. I don't want to be around people. They're useless eaters. They are worthless because I'm worth a few billion, if not $1 trillion. My family's been around for many a year. So what do I want to do? I'd rather have all the money in the world. I'm going to all the fancy parties. I have not glacial, but huge mansions on every continent. I have everything I want, except I want more. I always want more.
Mm-hmm.
I want more power. I want more status, and I want to live forever, just like Caligula, Nero, um, Caesar, Hitler, Stalin, all wanted to be gods. I'm a psychopath. My name is Rothschild. I want to be a god. I want to live forever.
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to live forever, and I have to be on a planet with all these useless eaters who are eventually going to rise up against me because I don't like these people, I want to kill these people because they disgust me, then I have to become a god. So by becoming a god, I'm going to have to transfer my consciousness to a robot, to an android. And when I do that, I am God. I will live forever. So I don't want these people rising up saying, hey, Rothschild, you got it. I want it. There's 6 billion of us. There's only a few of you. We're going to take it away from you. So I'm going to reduce the population of the planet down to 500 million or less because it's a lot more manageable that way. But what I, as a Rothschild, don't really fully consider is the fact that the Rockefellers, the Warburgs, and the other rich families are going to be as godlike as I am. And we eventually will have the idea of there can be only one, and we will kill off each other just to be only one. So that's the fly in the ointment for them. But see, you're not a psychopath, okay? You haven't put your mindset into thinking as criminally and as wide and as sick as they are. So if you did that, then the transhumanism would say, you know what? You would take a look at transhumanism and you would say, that makes sense.
Yeah, I can't make sense of it. Like, now, it does make sense to me. It does make diabolical, evil sense to me that you would create a pandemic, or create a situation where you have the entire public relying on pharmaceutical drugs. That way, if you are controlling the pharmaceutical drugs and that industry, then you will make all of the money. That makes sense to me. So, of course, in order to do that, you would have to kill off a bunch of people to raise the level of seriousness to coerce them into submitting to taking the pharmaceutical drugs. But to kill to kill them all off makes no sense, because poor people never figure rich people out. Rich people always figure poor people out. But poor people don't figure rich people out. You know, we think on a whistleblower level. Like, oh, look, I'll tell on them, it'll expose them, and then they'll have to stop. And nothing ever fucking stops. So, you know, we don't figure them out, but they've already figured us out. They know that we'll trust them. We'll trust them because we trust anybody who has a lot of money. But we know not to. They know not to trust us because we don't think in a monetary way. We think from a living standpoint, a comfortable standpoint, a quality of life standpoint. So there's no threat. So yeah, you would have to be a psychopath in order to listen. I've known total idiots that still said things that were intelligent and smart and still had good ideas. I've known retarded people who still showed more than enough signs of intelligence. So, but the theory that these psychopathic billionaires or whatever have. It's not working for me. Like there has to be something else to it. Like creating the pandemic from an evil standpoint, it makes sense, but to wipe out everybody makes no sense. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
See?
So
that's because you're not a psychopath. You're projecting your own particular values onto a bunch of people who have stepped on people in order to create their billions. They don't care about anybody else except the very, very rich themselves. They don't even care about themselves. They are psychopaths. They don't operate on a level that the normal human being does. They want more, 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 more. They're bored every day. They have everything. And they get bored every day. And they need stimulation. But they always wanted more. They want to become gods. And if they do become gods, right, now that's a gift. If you can actually learn how to merge your consciousness with the androids and live forever, everybody would want it.
mm-hmm.
But if everybody got it, then they wouldn't be gods because everybody would be a god. So they don't need it. They want to get rid of everybody so that they can become the only ones.
Okay. I don't know. I have nothing. I guess I got to eat that.
Well, see, you got to be a psychopath. Now, I had to become a psychopath back in 2006 when I finally realized that what made sense, what confused me all these years about the government, was that it finally made sense back in 2006 that our government is nothing more than a bunch of traitors. Mm-hmm. Traitors. The Republicans and the Democrats, they will sell us as America. Before, did I learn of the New World Order prior to that? I probably heard of them. But they will sell us down the river for a few $1 million. Because none of their legislation, ever since after the Revolutionary War, ever makes sense. They always spend more money than they've got. And whatever they do always backfires. It never really benefits the people. Are they that stupid? Really?
I don't know. Agendas. I have nothing. I got nothing.
You got word salad.
Right? You know? But listen, I got to get out of here, man. But once again, I appreciate you coming through. Appreciate it, mucho.
Okay. I'll talk to you next time. Hey, be safe and be good, all right?
All right, you too. Good stuff, y'all. Good stuff. Very, very, very good. Very good. All right, y'all. We have some birthday shout outs to do. Some people were born on this glorious January 30th, and they deserve to be acknowledged. So let's go about our business of acknowledging them and making them feel special because they are special, because they are special, because they are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They are SPECIAL. They get the RESPECT. They get number one out the box, Kate Lunger. Happy birthday to you. And also LaWines Blackman turning 39 years old today. And Nafisa Butts, happy birthday to you. And Melinda Townsend turning 35 years old today. And Jodianne Patrick turning 32 years old today. And Joseph Jenny Fiore, happy birthday to you. And Ronnie Carter, happy birthday. And my man go-getter Hashim Murphy turning 48 years old today. And go-getter Erica Howard, Macon, Georgia, is in the house, turning 46 years old today. And Sean Purnell, happy birthday to you. And last but not least, my girl Karen L. Adams, happy birthday to you. I want to say happy birthday to all of you and anyone else out there who shares this birthday on this glorious January 30th, anywhere out there in the world, worldwide, internationally, and universally. All of y'all go ahead and turn up, but don't turn up too loud. Just turn up loud enough so everybody can hear you. Rock out, rock on and do the damn, the rock out, rock on and do the damn, rock out, rock on and do the damn thing. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. You do your thing, y'all. Represent the queens and kings. Good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind, and anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours, and remember, listen, man, we got to eat that. There are things that are going to happen in our lives from the time that we were young to when we became pre-adolescents to adolescents to in our 20s, and now many of us are middle-aged or whatever, and there have been plenty of experiences that we have gone through that we may not have appreciated, didn't think that we deserved, didn't like, didn't want, and we still had to endure. We still had to go on. We still had to understand. And sometimes we had to feed a meal to people who didn't want what we were serving up. They had to eat it too. Life is a lesson, and there's a lesson, and there's a blessing in the lesson. And the lessons is something that we will not be able to unlearn. And sometimes the hardest lessons stick the hardest, and that food gets in your belly, and sometimes it nourishes you, even when it didn't taste all that good. And sometimes it tasted all right, and it was bad for you. But we learned that we gotta eat, baby. We gotta eat, baby. We gotta. It's gonna be a treat, baby. Listen, I want to thank y'all for coming through. I hope y'all enjoyed listening to the show as much as I enjoyed broadcasting it. Peace to all my day ones, my everydays, and my brand news. I love y'all to death. Resuscitate y'all and love y'all right back to life. Make sure y'all hit the like button, share the show, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet. We will be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for another Daily Go Getimism show. So blog talk. I'ma howl back and I get with y'all. You know how to act. And Instagram is 5slam Thanks for coming on through and let me exercise my grammar.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
And for my YouTubers, you know just how we do, but thanks for coming on through. See you on the other side, my boobers. Peace.